Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So we had a lot happen today. Hutanic, Rick Ritchie, thank you both for letting me know that you invested in yourselves today. Tonight's question might be a little difficult for some of you. What pair of coins did Bullish use to raise $1.15 billion during their IPO? XRP and Doge, Ethereum and Doge, RLUSD and EURC, or other. That's a good one. I think that's a good one. So Paul Atkins, the new SEC chair, got out there and he basically reiterated Project Crypto. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, that's nice. Where is it? Asking for a few friends. Just where is it? Just trying to figure that one out. The reason why I'm asking is because, things are being delayed left and right. I mean, you've delayed that I've reported, six or seven, somewhere between 5 and 7. But he's delayed more than that. When I say delayed, the ETFs. So I'm just wondering, which is it? Where is it? How is it? What's it going to do? What's it all about? I keep hearing about it. You want to foster innovation. Just wondering. Just looks like you're kicking the can down the road more. It would be nice to see a roadmap. Right? Like we've already scoped out everything that we want in it. We've worked through 15, 20% of the documentation. We've done blah, blah, blah. We expect to finish by blah, blah, blah. After, vetting and all that, we should release it by blah, blah, blah. But all I've gotten from this guy is blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, I like results, bruh. I like results. So I'm waiting. Maybe he'll amaze me and he'll release something and we'll all be in awe. I don't think that's the question. I think the question is, well, when, bro? When? Curious. When? I mean, nobody did an ounce of work until you stepped into the office? That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe. So what's the plan? How's it work? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Again. Something unrelated. Bo Hines used to be on the Crypto Council, the former White House Crypto Council, and Tether has appointed him as an advisor. Now, I'm not going to say that there's a reason why they appointed him as an advisor. But I would say we should probably think about his proximity to the new regime. Right? I'd also like to understand actually, I don't even care about his technical prowess. He's just an advisor. He's just somebody that's collecting a check. What are you actually advising on? Between Jack and what's that other thing? Yeah. Why? Well, I don't know. Because they want to be in compliance with whatever and they kind of need the road smooth so they can do so. Yes, they can come out with another crypto that's 100% compliant with the new rules in the United States. But if they could make it so that USDT would work, that would be a lot easier, right? So no shame in the game, I guess. They can afford to cut that check. I'd like to know specifically what he's advising on, but Tether is a private company and they don't have to report a doggone thing. I just find it interesting. Okay? Interesting. Federal Reserve Vice Chair Michelle Bowman has said again, banks should not have to worry, do not have to worry about offering crypto services. Not to be funny, but I am wondering, what does that mean for the FDIC? Does that part get insured, not insured? What rules and regulations are there around banks offering crypto services? Like, what are the guardrails? What are the guardrails? I'm interested in understanding that. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. What are the guardrails? We all know that if you want to offer stablecoins, you should be a bank. So Ripple has filed to be a bank. Circle has filed to be a bank. You know who hasn't come out with their own stablecoin, even though they should? Kraken. Kraken has not come out with their own stablecoin yet, at least that I know of. Only that I know of. I don't recall a stablecoin being released by Kraken. If you're an exchange, I absolutely see why you would want to release a stablecoin and play favorites for that stablecoin. Didn't Coinbase do that? Oh, my bad. No, they didn't. Circle released a stablecoin, and they play favorites with Circle, but they also receive. That's right. They invested in Circle, right? So same thing, no? Same thing. So I'm just wondering if it makes sense for Kraken to release a stablecoin. Now, I think Kraken might be asleep right now. Hear me out before you start yelling. The reason why I think Kraken could be asleep right now is because they have like the perfect opportunity to take market share from Gemini. Why is that? Gemini's Q2 was in the red. What, 232 million or something like that? Needed that $75 line of credit, kind of also known as a cash freaking infusion, from Ripple. And I said yesterday, wouldn't it be interesting if Ripple just came out and said, hey, Gemini, you're not going to go IPO. We're just going to buy you. You're doing it because you want money. We have money. We have a lot of it. And we're going to give you some. Interesting, no? Interesting. Right? So I'm curious if Kraken can take advantage while everybody else is looking in a different direction. They're looking at bullish. They're looking at Gemini. Don't believe me, they're also looking at eToro. So while that's going on, hit the news wire with your own stablecoin and make a big splash. Don't just release your own stablecoin, but release your own stablecoin and pair it with every other coin that you offer. Done. Why not? Like, so when I think about things like that, I think about the negativity first. What would be the first negative hit on that? Oh, they're releasing their own. You can't say anything about them releasing their own stablecoin because you would immediately point to Coinbase and USDC. Immediately. I think you need to give people a little bit, if you make a statement like that, I think you need to give people a little bit more detail about what you're thinking. They might not follow along. I know I don't. Well, it's also because I'm in the middle of a show, so I'm not. But that could be true as I think about it. But if I'm Kraken, again, like I said, how many exchanges are there in the United States operating within compliance? And Kraken has a massive story to tell. I think I talk about Kraken more than Kraken talks about Kraken. So Kraken, if you're listening, give a brother a call. Anyway, what would be the blowback? I don't think there is any downside to that. Oh, they're just trying to cash in like everybody else. If there's ever an entity that should probably have a stable coin and not just a coin, like look at what Coinbase did. Coinbase could have come out with their own coin. They didn't. They released Base instead. No coin involved. They released Base. Right? Look on the Kraken side. Well, you can release a stable coin. You could absolutely release a stable coin. And then use your own platform to drive demand. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. You also have a stock trading platform. Imagine having the ability to trade stocks, and instead of dropping everything down to US dollar or whatever denomination you're using, drop it down to the stable coin as an option. No. I'm just saying. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that could be a thing. That could be a thing. They definitely will bring liquidity to the bond market. Ham's house. What's up? Did you invest in yourself today? Liquidity to the bond market. Huh? You and Hutanic are onto something. For real, for real. I also want you to think about all the money that's sitting on the sidelines because of all this, volatility. Yeah, the markets took a dip. That's why you see red back there. Markets took a dip. When I see red, I see opportunity. But of course, that's just me, though. Not everybody's going to see opportunity. I do. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just saying. Don't they have Forex too? I don't know if they have a foreign exchange going on. I know they have stock trading because of NinjaTrader. I do not know if they have Forex. And that would kind of make sense, right? Because that's all an exchange is. That's all a crypto exchange is. It's a Forex play. It's a Forex play. And people find it so hard, so difficult to think about crypto. But if you think about Forex, you've now learned crypto. It's just that you have 8 decimal points that you get to play with. Right? But yeah, there's that. So I'm thinking about that. Circle, since we're talking about them, launched Gateway, a cross-chain infrastructure enabling single USD balance management across Arbitrum, Avalanche, Ethereum, and others using non-custodial smart contracts and off-chain attestations to streamline liquidity and reduce operational complexity for payment providers and DeFi firms. What did they just do? Somebody should be raising their freaking hand right now. What did they just do? They're literally trying to do what Cardano can do. It's literally what they're doing. Right? The whole interoperability thing, not having to do things without wrapping and bridges. That's what they're trying to do. Not mad at them. Not mad at them at all. But I do wonder about the functionality of Gateway. I also wonder about the relationship between themselves and Coinbase. How long is that relationship going to last? Or is it forever? In which case, yeah, Kraken should release their own stable coin. Just saying. I would absolutely do it. Unless they've got other plans. Like maybe if they don't have a Forex, they're going to go buy a Forex. We know they're going IPO. We know eToro's thinking about going IPO. I mean, we know Gemini is going IPO. There are a lot of IPOs in the crypto space that are happening right now that are being filed for. Strike while the iron's hot. So you can get that bucket of cash now and not have to worry about it. D-Mac in his house. Thank you for letting me know that you invested in yourself. Most important, most important. So yeah, I think about that. You want to know who else is trying to wake themselves up from the grave? Polkadot. Polkadot launched Polkadot Capital Group to attract institutional investors. And they also kind of restructured their governance model. Interesting, no? You know how I keep telling you guys that the great consolidation is going to come? There's like no doubt about it. The great consolidation is coming. When it comes, I don't know. But it is going to come. And that consolidation is going to wind up, we might as well call it the great culling. Right? Because some projects will merge, others will just fade away. They'll just be abandoned. Yep. That's a thing. That is a thing. And then you sit back and you kind of go, oh, wait a minute. They can be abandoned. Yes, they can be abandoned. Projects get abandoned all the time. Not just meme coins or NFTs, but I mean like real projects. They get abandoned all the time. They pick up no ground. There's no interest. Somebody else stole their thunder. It was a bad timing thing. All kinds of reasons. Rug pulls. All kinds of reasons. But the great consolidation / culling is going to happen. And the smart projects are saying, how do we remain relevant? What do we do that's going to help us remain relevant? So you literally just heard that Arbitrum, Avalanche, Ethereum, and a few others are relevant. Because Circle has Gateway, and that's what they're running on. So they are relevant. Makes sense, right? Because Arbitrum, Avalanche, and Ethereum are three of the most popular, platforms out there. So of course, that makes sense. And there are others. There are absolutely others. So you sit there and you kind of go, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. But that consolidation, that culling is going to happen. Now, the question is, how is everybody going to react? What would be the surprises from a consolidation? What mergers could we see? We've named a couple here, right? Chainlink buys Pith. XLM buys VeChain. We could probably sit down and talk about a whole bunch of them that could do it. Whole bunch of them. I can think of a few that could happen to, like Optimism. Optimism could go by the by. That could happen. Arbitrum, that could happen. Algorand, that could happen. People sitting there going, Algorand? Blasphemy. No, Algorand can definitely catch it. Why is that? They've been around forever. Solid chain. Never in the news. Cheap. But it can happen. You want to know which one I think could actually happen? Hedera Hashgraph. Will holders benefit from these potential M&As? That's the question. That's the question. I think when we saw it happen previously, those kinds of things really didn't work out well. But I think now that the market is a little bit more mature, I think it could work out. Again, I point to Hedera Hashgraph. That's new tech. Fast tech. I could see them getting snatched up by a chain that wants to move faster. I could easily see that. Here's something else that you could think of. I could see them taking another chain because they've got the tech and they have the momentum. But HBAR could go snatch somebody up. And and people that sit there and just go, what do they get out of it? Well, if they study these coins properly, they can create that interoperability between themselves and the existing coin. Once you have the interoperability, it's easy for you to port everybody over, isn't it? And now you're moving on the faster, more secure, cheaper platform than before. And you lost nothing. You gained. What does HBAR gain? All of those users. Boom, boom. Right? I'm holding $1,000 on X coin, on whatever coin it is. Right? And then all of a sudden I'm holding $1,000 on over here. Or whatever it equates to. Their market cap just went up. If I can make it easy for you to move from one coin to another coin without fees or anything else, interoperability between... Tell me you wouldn't do it. I lose nothing. I lose nothing. And possibly I make money on the deal. You keep poking at EVM. I don't know that EVM needs to scale. I've been saying it for a long time. It's not about one coin to rule them all. There will never be one coin. Not never. Never is a harsh word. It'll be a really long time before there's a single coin that does it all. A really long time. So, yeah, I'm not worried about this coin being slow, that coin can't scale. They all serve different purposes. And here's the other part. I'm looking at certain things and people keep saying, well, EVM can't scale. Possibly. What's its gas? Doesn't it, like, what do you mean by it can't scale? Are you saying Ethereum can't scale? Like, what's your definition? See what I mean? Because when I look at Ethereum, I'm like, well, look who's built all over Ethereum. Aha. Chainlink doesn't seem worried about scaling. But Chainlink could buy Pyth. Pyth has supposedly better tech. They're already interoperable. So adding Pyth to the mix, that's not hard. I mean, relatively speaking. It's work. Serious work. Account-based systems will always get congested with high traffic. UTXO. Yeah, there you go with UTXO again. That's fine. Again, you're talking as if there's going to be one coin or one technology. There are more than one use cases. I'm not saying that you're wrong, that it can't scale. What I'm saying is that at some point, it's not going to matter. There's not going to be one coin, period. You read the rest. I don't feel like reading the rest. That's the genius of Satoshi. It still sounds like you're promoting like the idea of one coin, except now you're saying, well, you could do the whole multi-channel thing and you have that interoperability thing. Not everything is about interoperability either. Not everything is about interoperability. Now, for certain use cases, yeah, that's what you want. For other use cases, I don't need it. I don't need the extra overhead. I don't need the extra anything. I just need this transaction to happen. There are reasons for everything. Some good reasons, some bad reasons. But there are reasons for everything. UTXO is good, but maybe you don't want to use UTXO. Maybe people actually don't even care about UTXO. How's that sound? They don't give a rat's behind about it. This person only accepts this, or this business only accepts this. I have it. I'm going to send that. This business accepts that. I have that. I'm going to do that. That business only accepts that. I don't have any. I'm going to use interoperability to make sure they get their money or they get their value. HBAR scalability, technology speed, low fees, and strong executive team are the reasons I'm looking at this coin until 2030, holding this coin until 2030. Yeah, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't give a rat's ass. Hear me out before you start catching attitude, because you know I'm a smart ass, right? I don't give a rat's ass because I'm a technologist. DMAC, you're a technologist. At some point, you realize I need something to happen. That's all I care about. I just need something to happen and know that it's going to happen reliably. There's not going to be a single technology. There's not going to be a single coin. Not everything is going to be interoperable. Because if everything is interoperable, then everything is one thing, right? If everything is interoperable, then everything is one thing. Did I miss anything? No. So you start to realize, there's a lot to be considered. But when I think about the consolidation and culling in the crypto space, the question is when? The question is, what are these projects going to do to remain relevant or regain relevance? That's why I brought up that Polkadot thing, because they're trying to regain relevance. Polkadot is a great blockchain technology. It really is. Can't sell it short. It's just that others came along and stole its thunder. Hello, Ton. Hello, Sui. Toncoin's going to make it because, well, I don't know. Telegram. Sui's going to make it just because, well, the tech is good. It serves a purpose. People use it. Keep it moving. But I think that when you walk into the store, it's going to be, we accept almost anything. We just need you to pass the value, and here's how much for this coin, this coin, this coin, this coin. As a matter of fact, you know what? Just zap the product. It'll bring up, what coins you have that we can accept and the value that you need to transfer to us to buy whatever nickety muckety muck that you're going to have. That's what it is. So, yeah, I think that things are going to change in ways that people don't realize. In some cases, in a lot of cases, tech is not going to be the problem except for as far as security. Nothing else is going to matter. Security and how fast can it happen? Security and how fast it's going to happen. And then you have to start thinking about, well, if I'm buying something from you, that's a two entity transaction. I don't need an exchange. How many two entity transactions are going to happen before I actually need an exchange? Remember, to me, exchange basically equals bank. Do I need an exchange? Not really. I don't even need an exchange to stake my crypto. So I don't need an exchange. What do I need an exchange for? I'm going to exchange specifically for another crypto. Do I need a centralized exchange for that? No. And when I say exchange, I mean centralized exchange, not the decentralized exchanges. So when you stop and you think about that, it's not necessarily a technology thing. It's a use case thing. The only people worried about the underlying tech are going to be the geeks. That's fine. It's what makes the world go round. But for the average person going to the store, they don't give a damn about how it's being transferred, so long as it's transferred and I can walk out with whatever service or product that I wanted. It's kind of how it works. Give or take. Give or take. It's kind of how it works. And I'm sitting there and I'm all about it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I will say, I think the better technologies that are established are going to do well. Pith is established. Is it as big as Chainlink? No, but it's established. And they've got tech. It doesn't have to be another Oracle to buy them. I just, thinking about what Mr. Big said, I'm kind of like, yeah, Chainlink would be the smart thing to do because of the tech. But there are reasons why certain combinations work. And I'm interested to see what combinations could happen. You know? So when I look at HBAR and their scalability and their capability, I'm kind of like, yeah, man, damn. It would take a big chain to buy HBAR. It would take a big chain to buy HBAR. But HBAR could easily buy another chain. Like that. Not a problem. They could do it. And like I said, whoever's buying whoever, they don't have to do it, you know, the way it was done in the past. Here's something crazy for you. Cardano could do it. There are certain chains out there that could absolutely do it. And growth by acquisition is going to wind up being a thing in the crypto space. Think about it. Either a project gets swallowed up or it gets kicked to the curb. Either way, whoever's holding those bags is going to be looking to move. Now, what I'd be wondering about is if you have two similar chains that want to merge. Think Arbitrum and Optimism. Interesting, no? Very interesting. It would take almost nothing for that to happen. Could be as smooth as silk, right? Just boop, boop, all done. Just like a merger and acquisition in the stock market. You're the smaller company. For every share that you give us, we'll give you point blah, blah, blah of hours. Boom. It's not a one-to-one. It's a value thing. Yours is valued at this. We can give you that exchange. And you'll be over here. But here's the thing. At what point everybody comes over, does the market cap go boom? Activity goes boom. I'm telling you, we live in a different world. So when everybody asks me, when everybody starts talking about, oh, the cycle, I just gave you a reason why I don't think the cycle is here anymore. I don't think the cycle is here anymore. Wow. You want to know what just crossed my head? This is going to blow people's minds. Because it's a stupid idea. But then again, it's me. So listen, hear me out. What financial institution is woefully behind? Woefully behind. What financial institution? I'll give you one guess. I'll give you 100 guesses and they'll all be wrong. Swift. Swift. I've been sitting here talking about how, you know, this company, that company, this bank, that bank, your mama's bank could go out and buy an exchange. Imagine Swift buying an exchange and going decentralized. Sounds crazy, can be done. But even if they stayed with it being centralized, Swift buying an exchange would be nuts. Why do you buy another company? The cycle's already broken. What are you going on about? You and I both know the cycle's already broken. Cut it out. I'm not going to play the game where we're going to satisfy other people's criteria for what makes them think that the cycle's broken. Skip that. Cycle's already broken. We hit a new all-time high last year. That wasn't supposed to happen. Cycle's broken. Upon digging, I can concur UTXO and atomic swap and more interoperable than interchain AMM swaps. Yep, nobody's doubting that. I'm not doubting that at all. I just think it matters to fewer than some people think. Yeah, bro. If it drops below this number, it's broken. No, bro, we already know it's broken. The cycle is already broken. D-Mac, what do you think? You think the cycle's broken? Because I don't see how the cycle is still a cycle. Ham's House, do you think the cycle... Any of you, Rick Ritchie, do you think the cycle is broken? I'm dying to know. I'm dead serious. I'm dying to know. I think the cycle is broken. But back to the topic. Imagine Swift buying Gemini. Okay. Any one of them. Like that. Like that. Oh, snap. Ain't pausing in his house. You buy another company because you want a service that they do and you don't. And thank you for letting me know that you invest in yourself. Cycle is about gone. We are moving into the third phase of this. It's hard for me to put it in chunks like that. Right now, I'm looking at it more as maturity. I don't even put it in phases. I look at it as maturity. I mean, you could use the word phase. That's actually a good word. Because a phase doesn't mean cycle. A phase just means the next chunk, the next chunk, the next chunk, the next chunk. So yeah, I can go for that. But let's go back to why you buy a company. They perform a service that you don't perform. They offer products that you don't offer. They have technology that you don't have. They've got staff that you don't have. They've got user base that you don't have. All of those things are reasons why a company would buy another company. Just saying. Sometimes you want to take out another company just to get rid of the competition. I don't want to do anything else except throw them in the frickin' trash. Look at some of these purchases in the financial industry. Who's been purchased and whose technology prevailed. You buy the company with the better technology and you squash them because they have the better technology, and you stay with this technology because you don't want to do the work to have to move anybody. It was easier to buy this company and then squash the tech. That is a rampant business move in the financial industry. Rampant. Well, I don't have Siri, but the type... So Captain Banana's not here, so you've inherited her fight with Siri. Is that what you're saying? Third phase. We are here to stay, so we have to start consolidating companies. Big fish eat little fish. Sometimes little fish can kill big fish. They might not finish the meal, but they can kill big fish. Couple of well played. So when I look across the landscape, look at the top 250 coins. That's a very wide range of market cap, right? You agree? Very wide range of market cap. Now, you look at that market cap and you kind of go, I can see these smaller ones getting bought up by this one. I can see this happening, this happening, this happening, this happening, this happening. What are the needs? I could see Arbitrum and Optimism getting together just because they're both on the cusp of irrelevance. When did they become irrelevant? When did they start becoming irrelevant? The advent of base. I mean, hell, base used OP's tech. A mixture of OP's tech and freaking Ethereum's tech, the EVMs. Yeah. So you can see it. Netflix killed Blockbuster. So you might be right. What you mean might? What you mean might? But yeah. You want to know why Netflix was able to kill Blockbuster? Because Blockbuster became lethargic. They stopped being innovative. Stop being innovative. How did Netflix start? Mail order. Huh? Yeah, mail order. So not that far off from Blockbuster's business model, right? But they stayed hungry. And kept going and going and going and going and going. And then they became Netflix. And now they've knocked everybody out except for one player who I don't think they could ever beat. Who is that? YouTube. Now everybody's sitting there and going, damn. Yeah, YouTube. Released straight to streaming. Who picked it up? It's on YouTube. Going to Netflix? Netflix isn't cutting those kind of checks anymore. Only for the very few. You can still get a check, but they're not cutting those big honking checks the way they used to. Excuse me. So, yeah. Little fish can knock the crap out of big fish that can't move anymore. Young and hungry. Old and hungry. When was the last time you thought Ethereum was sitting on its butt? Ethereum has never sat on its butt. Never. Everybody just thinks they have, but they've never sat on their butt. Not once. Not once. It's always in the news for some reason, one reason or another, controversy or something cool or something stupid. Always in the news. Mr. Buterin comes out and has something to say because he's a smart guy. Always out there. Always relevant. Is Optimism like that? Is Arbitrum like that? Is Algorand like that? Go down the list of some coins that are out there that used to be the cat's meow, the bee's knees. You can go down that list and you can keep going down that list. Like Windows into IBM when IBM laughed about Windows OS. That was IBM's $1 billion mistake. They admitted it. They admitted so much. It was their $1 billion mistake. They had a chance to snatch Windows and they balked. They were like, because they had, what was it, OS2? They balked. They were like, And Microsoft took it as a challenge. Bill Gates took it as a challenge. Who won? But here's what's funny. How many companies can make $1 billion mistake like that? But IBM continued to make mistakes. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Apple laughed at Microsoft. I mean, hell, everybody laughed at Microsoft. And what did Bill Gates prove? Which will bring me to an AI thing. Sometimes good enough is actually good enough. Hear me out. Sometimes good enough is actually good enough. Don't believe me? I'll give you an example. AI comes out. You can make images with it. You can make artwork with it. If you're an artist, you might look at that and go, that's not art. Not going to disagree with you. But the image needs to tell a story to match this article or whatever. And the picture that it created was good enough. And I didn't have to spend oodles and oodles of money to pay this person to create something way 50 bazillion times better than that for this article that's going to fade into history. Excuse me? Sometimes good enough is actually good enough. That's the lesson that Microsoft taught everybody else. I don't need perfection. I need it to get done. It doesn't need to work perfectly because we can come out with service packs. In crypto land, you can't really do that. Can't really do that in crypto land. You kind of got to get it right. But when you're coming out with a product, I mean, you could kind of say Solana did that, right? Solana came out with something that was imperfect. Good enough. I still see people raving about Solana. Sipping on that, gulping on that Kool-Aid. Over 100 transactions per second. That's great to handle all that meme traffic. While real development happens on other blockchains. Real development happens on other blockchains. I would rather hear you developing something on Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, Ethereum, freaking Polkadot, Polygon. I can think of 50 bazillion other, platforms that I could see you building on rather than Solana. Solana's going to pop, but one day Solana's going to burst. And maybe it's no time soon. Maybe it's down the road a piece. I'm still not willing to take that chance when I can look at other opportunities for me, for my risk framework that says I can make money over here without that level of risk. I could be miscalculating that risk. But when I report to you guys and I go over the numbers that I'm looking at, I tell you, well, if you're into Doge, if you're into Solana, this might be a point where you can make money. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that other people don't like it. So I'll tell you about it. Be like, hey, I have my feelings about Solana, but at this price, that could be a good time to get in because we're pretty sure that Solana is going to head back up to 200, right? How much money can I make? What's the volatility? I'm looking at XRP. Let me refresh this screen because I don't know if those numbers are up to date. Up to the moment. Yeah, I was 1 penny off on XRP. It's at 288. I was looking at 289. Solana is at 177.99. Wow. Bitcoin is still at 113. Ethereum is at 4,100. I'm worried that Ethereum could dip down into the 3,000 range, in which case I would just go snatch up some freaking Ethereum because I'm crack pipe like that. What else am I looking at? Cardano is at 84 cents. That's a huge drop. It was 10 cents more. 10% drop. Just saying. Chainlink. I want you to... I don't know how to tell you people this, but I want you to stop and think about this. Chainlink is at $23 and it's taken a hit. To last, 24 hours, it's down 6.44% and it's still maintaining at over $23. Now you know why I kept saying, don't sleep on Chainlink, don't sleep on Chainlink, don't sleep on Chainlink. Chainlink has slowly become a bigger part of the connective tissue in the Web3 space. Just saying. Solana will be around. It's just overvalued. It's highly overvalued. But here's the problem. If it's overvalued and it starts to go down as others start to come up, it becomes irrelevant. And here's something else for you to consider. If I am correct, and within the next 5 years, because that's actually the time frame that I think, within the next 5 years, you have the great consolidation / culling. If Cardano bumps up above Solana, if Doge bumps up above Solana, Chainlink bumps up above Solana, Solana will drop. Solana will drop because there's a level of importance to what Cardano's doing, to what Chainlink's doing, Hyperliquid, Stellar, SUI. Even if you write off Doge, which you shouldn't. Why? Because it's used. It's used. Nobody's buying Doge. Nobody is buying Doge from a buy a project perspective. It will be standalone. But it gets used. What are you going to say to that? Nothing. Nothing. If Solana has, dings in its armor. And one small thing can knock it down. One small thing can really knock it down. What's on its heels? USDC. Yes, it's a stable coin, but the more and more people want to use it, the more it gets leveraged, the more and more they have to print or mint, and it pops up. They're only $30 billion away. Just saying. Coming soon, reputable firms like Moody's and others and other credit rating agencies will begin providing industry standard ratings for crypto. Oh, no doubt. Because why? Because they have to remain relevant. Yeah, so I expect that. This is a must for hedge fund managers and pension fund managers. Problem is, what's that algorithm look like? How's that work? The math is not easy. 8 decimal points, the math is not easy. So yeah, they'll be thinking about that in a big way. An older neighbor asked, what theater is showing the 2023 Napoleon movie? I said, it's not in any theater. It's only streaming online. He made the funniest face. Yeah, I reported Cubic is going to go after Doge. I reported that this morning. And excuse my language. My mother's probably going to slap me. Fuck Cubic. I've been thinking about it all day. I don't like how they're handling business. That's not... fuck them. You want to make a point that, hey, your tech, needs to be better and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And the way that you do this is to attack other people's work. Screw you. I don't see any good from that. Work with people to make their stuff better. Help them create something new. Something stronger. But your take is to go rip somebody else down. I'll put it to you like this. If they want to rip it down, why is that? Because it's actually good. You're not going to waste your time ripping down something crappy, right? I do, but I there was no other way to say it, man. Whenever I'm coming foul of mouth, don't I always say my mother's going to slap me? I always say that. So nobody can really scream foul. I know the consequences, but even my mother will tell you sometimes there's no other way to say it. Sometimes there's no other way to say it. So you're going to be a bully, right? You're going to be a bully and rip down what somebody else has built. You didn't build a damn thing, but you're going to rip down what somebody else built. So screw it. Strongly advise you taking that down. That's right. It's my show. I can't make the rules. But I apologize. I apologize, Mom, first. Like, I know my mother's going to scream at me. But sometimes saying things in a specific kind of way is communication. My mother doesn't mind foul language so long as it's used appropriately. Even she would tell you that. And sometimes the F-bomb can be used appropriately. Sometimes there's no other way to make the point. But we digress. I don't care about what anybody else has to say. Don't like the show? Bounce. Dead serious. I'm here to share thoughts and opinions and try to grow together. Right now, I'm pissed. Not at you guys. I'm pissed because it's been bothering me all day that they think it's some really cool thing that, well, you know, we voted on it and we're going to go after Doge. We voted on it, so we're going to go after Monero. And we're a bunch of anonymous people that have never built anything. There's a Brooklyn term that my family is very much accustomed to. And that Brooklyn term is, especially my Italian friends, fuck out of here with that bullshit. Dead serious. Dead serious. I have friends that own businesses. I mean, I have a friend that owns an insurance company. He has spent decades building his insurance company. I would feel the same way that if some group took a vote and said they were going to target his insurance company, I would still be pissed. It took him decades to build what he's got. It takes decades to build what he's got. I mean, it's not like me and my garden, right? Remember when I was telling you guys about my garden and I had four setups, and in one of them, they just attacked the one and they just ate everything in it. I had dill, I had cilantro, it's all gone. They pigged the hell out in one night. They all just sat there, all their fat behinds eating my food. And at least that went back to nature. I still got happy because it went for a good cause. Going after what somebody else has built for the sake of proving a point? To who? To who? You don't like what they've built? Go build your own. Seriously. If you don't like what somebody else has built, you go build something better. Don't rip theirs down just because you don't like it. Go build your own. You got the cojones to talk about somebody else's stuff? You go do it. You go see how hard it is. You go do it. And then come back and tell me how you would feel if somebody ripped down what you just built. People that build appreciate other people that build, whether they like that person or not. They appreciate what they've done, what they've been able to accomplish. So yeah, I'm not going for that nonsense. It's too much hate. For what reason? For what reason? All of that energy that you're using to rip somebody else down, you could use that energy to help build somebody up. Ever think about that? Ever think about that? Here's an idea. And you guys are going to think I'm funny. But I think it was Hutanik and I had this conversation eons ago. Everybody go to the bank. We choose a bank. We vote on it. And we all just withdraw 10%. 10%. Banks would freak the hell out. There's a run on the banks. Yeah. That's enough to trigger something. Want to send a message? There you go. The little ones need to learn how to use Oh, 8 pause. That was awesome. Okay, let me stop laughing. The little ones need to learn how to use their words appropriately too. It's truth. It's truth. Use your energy to do better for yourself. Use your energy to do better for your neighbor. Use your energy to do better for somebody who has less than you. Use your energy even just to build yourself up. But you don't build yourself up by ripping somebody else down. Just saying. I mean, I look at some of these meme coins. I can appreciate the work that went into it. You went to a launch pad. You had to figure it out. You figured it out. You figured out the business model. You had to do some research on that. All that good stuff. You had to learn how to use bots if you're trying to be successful and stuff like that. You had to do something. Even at that most simplistic level, you had to learn how to do something. I feel like I'm being attacked by mosquitoes. We took a vote. We're going to go after Doge next. Wow. Anywho, what else happened? Robinhood expanded prediction markets to professional and college football. That's actually big. Yo, the artist formerly known as Patient One. Thank you. Welcome back. Greetings to you two. You need to try neem oil for your edible plants. This worked. Oh no, it wasn't even that. I'm an idiot. I literally created a salad, an aromatic salad, and they were like, thank you. Seriously, they were like, thank you. Because the other three, they didn't touch. So you know what I did? I left that one out there. I left it there and let them they come back every now and then. But they stop, they look at that, and then they look at the rest of it and they leave it alone. They leave it alone. I'm cool for that. And thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. That is huge. So, remember Bo Hines? I told you about that, right? That he left a month ago and now he's over at Tether. I'm waiting to see what happens because I didn't finish that thought. I'm waiting to see what happens from that connection. Right? From Tether to Bo to the new regime. I'm just waiting to see what happens. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Lex Luthor, go in the corner, man. Go in the corner. She helps me out a lot. Leave Patient One alone. I mean, I knew because ages ago she would hop on his account, in the middle of a show, she would snatch his phone and be like, "It's me," blah 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 blah, and then give his phone back. So yeah, I mean, it could be his alter ego. I mean, I'm just saying, but I doubt it. I think she's real. I think she's real. Norwegian counterintelligence accused Russian hackers of attempting to control a hydropower dam in western Norway. Russia's isolated. They're trying to use crypto to get around sanctions, and they're still attacking and probing other countries. They're not done yet. No matter what anybody says, they're not done yet. The reason why I bring that up is because they can affect the global economy. They have affected the global economy. When they invaded Ukraine, they affected the global economy, and we haven't really recovered from that. The world needs that war to stop. We need it to stop. That's a huge impact on the global economy. And so I don't think they're done yet if they say, well, we don't want them to join NATO. Why don't you want them to join NATO? Well, because the next time we fight them, we invade them, NATO would come to their aid, and we don't want that. So we don't want them to join NATO. They're literally just saying, we're going to be back. The same way they did the last time. And it's going to affect the global economy. So my answer to that is, I think as an industry, crypto needs to tell Russia to stop. Straight up. If there are blockchains out there that have Russian money flying across it, tell them to stop. Why do you think they're using things like A7 A5, backed by the ruble. They don't want to stay. They don't want their funds staying too long on chains that can actually do something. And something else, all of that's happening OTC. Kinderspiel. Funny. You guys are funny. Just reading a couple of things. So I think at some point there are two aggressors that need to be stopped so that the global economy can do better. And you're going to think it's funny, but one of them is Russia, obviously, and the other one is North Korea. North Korea is out there snatching billions. Snatching billions. Something to think about. Just saying. Tonight's question was, what pair of coins did Bullish use to raise $1.15 billion for their IPO? XRP and Doge, Ethereum and Doge, RLUSD and EURC, or other? 50% of you are correct. Out of 8 votes, 4 of you are correct. It's RLUSD and EURC. Those were the 2 coins. Crazy, no? Crazy. And it was settled through Coinbase. Coinbase has their hooks into a lot of different things. A lot of different things. Pay attention. There are ways that we can make money. There are ways that we can make things happen. But you got to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. And it all starts with your first investment. Right there. Doesn't matter which one it was. It was actually, they were actually both on Solana, I thought. Yeah, both on Solana. Ta-da! Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, smash the likes. Tell everybody that this is the best place to be if you want to learn, have inspiring conversations, and actually learn what to do, whether the market's up or down. This is a great place to be. All right? Smash the likes. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. I will be back tomorrow morning at 5:30 because I'm going into the city tomorrow. Big day. And there's a lot going on. Thank you, D-Mac. Everybody, have a good one. And Michael McCaskill, you be blessed too. Bye, everybody. Thank you.